So I should go ahead and warn you all, I've never done this before, so we'll just have to bear with me. Huh? Ah, okay, yeah. So I have a really low voice, so I guess I have to get pretty close to the microphone. But yeah, so this will be my first experience speaking in front of the group. Usually I'm more behind the scenes, just working on projects. I've been spending the last several years working with Splinterlands, actually. I was an employee for a little while, and then I started working for the DAO. So I have now been working for the DAO for the last 2 years. And yeah, I will try to keep the microphone really close to my mouth. um, but yeah, it's been very interesting. I think Splinterlands is kind of in a transitionary stage at the moment where we've been moving from a more centralized community structure to a more decentralized community-oriented structure instead of the company kind of leading the charge. The DAO is now kind of like directing the company and how it wants to go. The DAO is now actually funding a lot of the company's work. So it's like almost like Splinterlands has become, it's still like the core company. It's still designing most of the sets, but I would say it's more like Splinterlands has kind of become a contractor for the DAO and the community. So the community can basically direct development and kind of like influence the direction that the company goes in the future. And I think it's been really interesting. So, I think most of you here probably know the answer to this question, but like, what is Splinterlands? We're one of the basically foundational Web3 games that's kind of been defining the space for the last 7+ years now. We have over 4 billion games all played on chain on Hive. We currently have about 5,000 daily active users. And yeah, it's been a journey. There's been a lot of ups and downs, and you may notice I am not Matt and I am not aggroed, which is kind of interesting, and I think that also ties into the fact that we are getting more and more community-led. So yes, if you have not met me, I know I've been kind of in the Splinterlands rabbit hole for the last few years. I have actually been pretty much part of the community since the beginning. I think there was a 1-month waiting period whenever I initially got my account right after the launch of the chain. Before the fork that liberated the community. So yeah, I have actually been around since pretty much the beginning. And while I used to spend a lot of time writing about poetry and philosophy, now most of my time is spent working on financials and spreadsheets and basically helping direct the community to make the correct, or well, hopefully the correct and helpful financial decisions to lead us forward into the future. So you may also notice that Splinterlands got some funding from the DHF, I guess it's like a couple of years ago now, or over a year ago. And one of the things that Splinterlands wanted me to update you guys on is kind of how they've been using the funding and what the results have been. So if you can see here, there's a lot of different things, but basically they're kind of structured into 2 different categories. There was a lot of infrastructure work where the company was basically contracting, like marketing consultants and working on actually building out infrastructure. Splinterlands now has a fully free-to-play game mode where you can sign up and kind of like get started. You can actually earn cards and kind of have a I guess like an introductory experience without having to go in and spend a lot of money, which has been actually really popular. I'm sure you could probably imagine. That's one of the things that's probably helped 3-4x the number of daily active users. We have a new set that just released in April. I think it's already done about $3.6 million in sales. And we're still going. We recently had the DAO fund the company with $1.2 million investment to build a mini set. And this will be the first time that the DAO is the full beneficiary of any funds generated. Usually we do like a revenue split with the company. So again, this is kind of like leading more and more into the direction that the DAO is directing the company and kind of spearheading which way we want to go in the future, which I think is really interesting, and this is kind of like pretty fundamental to the whole idea of Web3, right? Like we're we're getting away from the centralized community-directed model, and we're getting more and more into a community-led position where I think it really helps to, basically have the community say, what do we want, instead of, what are we getting? So basically the company used to dictate, like, here's a new pack sell, here's what you're gonna get. And now it's more like the community says, hey, this is what we want, and this is when we want it, and we're gonna pay for it. So, it's kind of an interesting dynamic, and we're, still kind of testing it out, seeing how things work. But, I think it's gonna be very interesting. And so far, you can, let me see. Yeah, I put together another chart here. Oh, and just to touch on this too, there are still actually unused funds. Like I would say probably about 75% have been used between marketing efforts, between building out basically the marketing foundation. Like there's been a lot of tech work going into getting the new onboarding experience, the new free-to-play mode. And then there has also been spins on marketing where we're going on X, we're going on Facebook, we're putting out different kind of advertisements. And like I said, we still have probably 25% of the funds left that they're continuing to use on strategic marketing efforts to promote both Hive and Splinterlands. Okay, and as you can see, the impact of how all these marketing updates have actually been going. We were previously getting around a little less than 100 daily signups, and now we are closer to about 200. So I would say, it's been pretty successful so far. We still have more work to do, but we're actually hoping now that most of the foundational work has been done, that we can actually start spending more time and more energy on the, direct marketing to the consumer. And hopefully this translates to more users coming to Hive. And that leads me into what exactly is the SPS DAO. So, I've kind of been touching on a lot of the things that we do as related to the company, but we are actually bigger than that. We are, I would say, probably one of the pioneering DAOs oriented on Web3 gaming. So we're kind of like filling out and defining the space. We're figuring out where the pain points are. We're figuring out how to actually navigate between Web3 and the legacy, financial world, the legacy gaming world. And one of the things we do is we've had to set up a DAO foundation, which has some great, long-term community members that are actually leading it. I know a lot of you may know Matt Clark. He's one of the guys that is really big in the Australian Hive community. And he's a really great guy. I've been a fan of his for a long time. We've been friends since back in the PAL days, if you guys remember PAL. So yeah, he is actually our chair for the SPS DAO Foundation. We have Joyne Cunningham and B. Jangles. These guys basically lead up and create the SPS DAO Foundation. They help guide us and help deal with regulatory things for, basically if we have to sign contracts with legacy companies or things like that, they will help bridge that gap between Web3 and the legacy financial world. We have SPS DAO treasuries, which are also made up with a lot of big Hive community members. These guys are currently managing somewhere around $10 million in assets. They are key holding for us. So, part of this whole DAO thing is figuring out I guess, kind of like the pain points between decentralization and centralization. So, while, DAO's approach is you have the DHF and, basically it's all a consensus model where if you get over a certain threshold, then funds are dispersed. We actually use a treasury model to where we pass proposals with a 2/3 majority, and then we trust community members to basically be our key holders. So it works, fundamentally differently than Hive, but, again, it works for us. And, it's interesting because maybe at some point we'll move to a more, I guess, decentralized signing mechanism. I actually had a good talk yesterday where it makes me think that maybe this will be possible in the future on Hive, and it's something I actually look forward to. But yeah, so this is kind of what we do. We manage a lot of assets for the community. We basically work with the company to direct the future of Splinterlands, And okay, I gotta check my time, make sure I'm not yapping too much. But yeah, you know, we are kind of here to basically build the future of Web3 gaming, and it should be interesting. You know, every day there are new challenges. It definitely keeps me busy. And you know, it's interesting because I would have thought that this would be what I would be doing for a living, but you know what? It works. I like it, and while it's very challenging, it's also very rewarding because we get to basically build the future every day, and you know, I like it. So what does the DAO do? On the fundamental level, we are the governance token for Splinterlands, which means if somebody wants to change something in Splinterlands, like say how token distributions work, or like change something in the white paper, or you know, basically change anything, what we can do is we can put together proposals and the community will vote on it. And if there's a 2/3 majority, we will ratify this change and basically, you know, we will change something. Like one of the big things we did is we used to assign, I think about 10% of our token supply was going to LP rewards, which was basically just having people park funds in an LP, and then they would get paid additionally on top of whatever fees the LP would generate. And basically the DAO decided that that was not a great investment, so what we did is we voted to remove those over time, and now we are actually fully self-funded, so we have our own LPs. The DAO uses its own assets. So basically, we turned an expense into an asset for the DAO that generates revenue and ultimately helps secure us for the future because we're not beholden to, you know, basically other parties removing liquidity, and we are, you know, basically making money. So, you know, it's good for the DAO. Now, how do we benefit the Hive ecosystem? So, you know, this is actually a question I get asked a lot. And I think in the past, you know, there was a lot of people that kind of thought like there was like the Splinterlands clique and there was the Hive clique. And, you know, like they don't necessarily always overlap. We've actually been trying to fix that a lot because, like I said, as somebody that's been here since the beginning, I've personally been here since before Splinterlands was even a concept. I've been here since before CryptoKitties, and I've been here since before NFTs existed. So to me, like building on Hive and getting more and more integrated with the Hive ecosystem is actually fundamentally important to me personally. And I think a lot of the DAO holders and a lot of the community members for Splinterlands are actually starting to see more and more the value in Hive. And we're trying to basically get to a position to where we're encouraging them more and more to use it. So how do we benefit Hive? Well, first we've built open source L2 validators. So anybody that has a community that wants to basically take our technology and start running your own L2 on Hive, it's there, it's in our GitHub. You can spin it up, you can manage your own token, you can, you know, do a lot of the things that we're doing right now, which ties into one of the other things we're doing, which is we've been building bridges. So one of the things that I've been saying about Hive for the longest time, and I'm talking like probably 5+ years, is we have to get connected to other ecosystems. One of the problems with the way the crypto market works right now is things are very centralized with, you know, centralized exchanges by their nature are centralized, but also they're kind of have a lot of unscrupulous activity. I think you may have seen the effects of that recently when the market managed to crash like 80% in the matter of about an hour. Well, you know, as you guys may figure out, or some of you may know if you've ever had to interact with a lot of these entities, is they do not necessarily look out for your best interest, and they don't necessarily look out for your community or your chain. So building your own connected tools to connect to other chains directly without having to use these intermediaries is great for the future and sustainability of blockchain. And it's something that I've been advocating for years. So we also invest. We have now purchased over 1 million Hive, and we've also purchased, I think it was about 150,000 HBD at the time. And this is basically a decision that our DAO made whenever we were, like whenever Splinterlands was asking for DHF funding. a lot of the criticism was that we don't have a lot of skin in the game with Hive. A lot of our people don't care about Hive. So we voted, and our community decided that we were going to put our money where our mouth is, and we invested in a Hive. So it's not just like we're looking for like a one-sided relationship. We're actually here to build and grow, and we actually use our Hive power to basically curate and connect with the greater Hive community while also encouraging our users to go post on Hive and hopefully learn about Hive and get more integrated with the community. So one of the other things we've been doing to also connect greater with Hive and also try to bring people from outside of the ecosystem is we recently funded a $500,000 seed for the Crypto Gaming Recovery Fund. And what this does is we actually look for all these games. If you guys haven't noticed, Web3 games seem to fold on a daily basis. I think it's probably like very much been a boom and bust cycle, which is making it even more interesting that Splinterlands has stood the test of time. You know, we're still here after 7 years, while most games are not lasting very long at all. I mean, there was a very high profile game that launched recently that closed within a month, and they had millions and like, let's say like 9 digits of funding. So if they can fold in a month, you know, it's rough out there, right? So what we've done is we started reaching out to these other communities, and we've started offering their members a chance to come in. We put up 1% of our token supply over 7 years to basically stimulate some kind of like growth and kind of like a starter package basically for people to come here. But we're not just focusing on only Splinterlands with this. We're actually reaching out. We've had 3 other projects, and I'm talking to a 4th right now from the Hive ecosystem, that are all offering varying, basically like either starter packages or some types of incentives to help also bring these people on board. So whenever we reach out, we're not just saying, hey, come join Splinterlands. We're saying, hey, come join the Hive gaming ecosystem, you know. We have Woo. Woo recently put up 35,000 packs. So like these guys are in it too. They believe in the mission. You know, I've got to talk to their marketing guy. You know, I've got to talk to a bunch of the people that work with these different projects. You know, I've got to talk to D-Crops. D-Crops has put up 5,000 starter packs. Crypto Shots has put up a bunch of their, I think it's like their alpha NFTs, like they're very limited. So Crypto Shots is more free to play, but still, like they're putting up some of their more rare collectibles. And basically all of these things are just saying, hey, look, we know you guys got a bad shake of it. We know you like went in on a game that failed and most of you like lost money. Well, you know, come to the Hive ecosystem. We're here to welcome you. We want to help you get started, right? And I think, I'm running low on time. But yeah, you know, we're really grateful to get to be working with some awesome projects on Hive. Many of these guys have been here for years too. And you know, we think that it just shows strength that our ecosystem and like, you know, not just our game, but like other games in the ecosystem has survived for several years. And we would like to welcome people to come join us. So, again, what are we doing for Hive? We are not just building for the gaming system. We recently actually wrapped Hive. So you can now actually bridge Hive, and HBD will be coming shortly, probably within a couple of weeks. And what we're doing is we're trying to help Hive actually connect to the greater DeFi ecosystem like we've been doing with SPS. So we've been building bridges for the last couple of months. We have been battle testing our tech on the SPS token. We have bridged to Base, BSC, and the Ethereum blockchain. And what we are doing is now we have also built a gateway. And this is actually like an open gateway, so people can use it just kind of like how they do with other L1s. The first bridge is live right now on tribaldex.com. You can go to tribaldex.com/bridge, and you can immediately, if you'd like to, you can wrap your Hive, you can move it to Base, you can move it to BSC, you can move it to Ethereum. And there are liquidity pools worth about like $30,000 on each chain that just kind of like seeded this. But again, you know, like the idea is that this can grow bigger than us. You know, other people can set up their own bridges. Other people can set up their own liquidity positions. And, you know, it's just a good way to get started connecting to the outside DeFi world. But, wow, yeah, so it's been about 20 minutes already. But, you know, thank you guys. Hopefully this went all right. Cool.
So Clay, hang on just a second.
Oh.
You do have about 5 minutes left, so let's just quickly see, is there anybody in the audience who might have some questions or comments since you have the man available?
Oh,
do you have any questions about everything that he's gone over today? We'll just take a quick peek. I see one down in the front here.
Yeah,
okay, you're on the hot seat.
I saw the 20-minute timer was running out. So
You're
like,
good, man. All right, here you go.
Hey, Clayboyn. I was just curious a bit about the crypto recovery funds. Did you start with any games, and what is the efficiency of that? How many people will join and everything?
So what we're actually doing is we're putting out PRs for every game that we're basically sponsoring. We're putting out PRs for all the other Hive projects that are supporting too. And we have currently started supporting, I want to say like about 9 or 10 different failed games. We're always looking for more. Like I said, there's plenty of games folding in the space, unfortunately, and I don't know. I don't really see it as something to celebrate, but I do see it as an opportunity. You know, it's very unfortunate. I don't think any of us like to see people losing money. I don't think any of us. And it's not just money. Whenever like a game goes under, I mean, people are like losing their home. A lot of people like build their friend groups and their ecosystems around these games. We've currently had. I know we're up to double digits now. I'm not sure exactly how many, but like it was kind of a slow start just reaching out. I think a lot of people see it and they're like kind of skeptical, but you know, like that's one of the reasons why we're actually like partnering and we're spreading out. We want to show that this is bigger than just Splinterlands. It's more than just like a marketing pitch. Like this is actually a pathway for people to come join Hive and get started. I think personally I've awarded like 12 or 13 people that I can think of off the top of my head for different games. You know, there's other people helping with this too. But yeah, so it's like people are coming, people are signing up, and you know, it's kind of like a slow start. I would obviously, like I would love for it to be much bigger, and I hope that it will be. You know, that's why we're running PRs, we're gonna keep pushing it. And we actually did an article with Decrypt recently, where we kind of discussed basically Splinterlands and bringing all the other projects on board. So I'm hopeful, you know, and we're going to try it out. If it, you know, hopefully it will keep progressing and growing.
Awesome. Thanks for that answer. A great question. All right, let's give one more round of applause for Clayboyn and for Splinterlands and all the cool stuff that's going on.
Oh, thanks, guys.